where the trees at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag and Underdog Fantasy. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, college basketball, to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Although the NFL season is done, there's still many games to be played between college basketball, NBA, NHL, and WNBA. There's always time to embrace your inner underdog. All you got to do is predict higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. If you have yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code ChiefConcerns, one word, to claim your free pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So let's continue to keep the good vibes going into the spring season. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End. I'm Marcus Dash here with my brother Teja Dash, and guys, JD will not, the man of the hour, the man of the show, the man of the channel, Jason Dunn will not be joining us tonight. One of our favorites, one of our loved ones, Chad, JD's nephew. You guys have seen him all the time in the chat. He is not feeling well tonight, and JD is tending to some personal matters with Chad. So, guys, definitely, I know Chad and JD are probably going to be watching this tonight for sure, but definitely send your prayers and love to the Dunn family and to Chad. And, you know, Chad, you're a fighter, brother. You're a tough son of a gun, and we love you, buddy, and you'll come out stronger. So,
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, all kind words send their way to the Dunn family, and they'll definitely appreciate it. And we appreciate it here at the Chief Concerns family because we are, at the end of the day, we are a family. We, we all share our stuff with each other, and whether it's in the chat or JD and I on here, sharing all the different stuff that's going on in our lives. But we are together in all the stuff. We are a family. So
Prayers, thoughts, and love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love you, Chadley. Love you, buddy. So yeah, tonight's episode, JD gave us his two players, which we're not going to give you JD's analysis. However, we're still going to give you our analysis and tidbits on the two running backs that he selected for our running back prospect show tonight. And you guys all last week talked about running backs. And so we said, you know what? We're going to give you running backs tonight in a pretty comprehensive running back episode, I would say. Each of us picked two guys. So we'll have 6 running backs in total that we'll talk about directly. And then at the end, because this is probably one of the best running back drafts that we've seen in a long. Yeah, it's way too many. And we didn't think 6 would do it justice. So at the end of the episode, we will be talking about a lot of different other guys that we were big fans of that the Chiefs could. I mean, because the running back is a need for us, right? I mean, that's one of the things that we think we're going to go for. So we're going to talk about a lot of them, and hopefully we strike with one of them in this episode tonight. Let me pull a JD and give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Seeing Justin the way. Justin, what's up, buddy? YB Negative, my man. What's up, buddy? Linda Hunter, what's up, Linda? Hope you're doing well tonight. YB with Chad's usual saying word for our guy Chad. Justin the way prayers. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Linda, appreciate the prayers. Appreciate it. I'm sure Chad and JD will be watching this tonight. That's what JD told me. So they'll be watching. And also, Chad was a running back, so Chad will be watching this. And I'd love to get his insight on what he thinks.
He's going to be critiquing our critique.
Oh, big time. And I'll tell you what, Chad probably had a bias, a little partiality to Amarion Hampton, who we'll be talking about tonight. UNC running back. Chad's a big UNC fan, so there you go there. So I'm sure you'll love that. I think we're all pretty much big fans. I think we're all bigger fans of Omarion Hampton than MJD is. We'll get to that when we talk. And we got Sasha, awesome format. Appreciate you, Sasha. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. So again, guys, send your love and prayers, JD and Chad's way. Chad, we'll see you. You'll be coming out of it stronger than everybody. All right, so Teja, obviously, JD and I will get to the Chief news that there's really not a lot has happened since last week. Mike Pinnell's back. That's the big one. JD's a big Mike Pinnell fan. We always comment on how big his arms are, two freaking ham hocks and those things. So those things are probably the biggest arms I've ever seen. What's that?
Feed families.
100%. And also, too, it's like, I know I saw some people say that we don't need D tackles now because we signed Pinnell. It's like, dude, come on. He's a great run. He's a great run stuffing DT. But like Jones needs a legit guy next to him, and Pinnell can be he's a rotational DT. That's what he is. And he'll continue to be that for the rest of his career.
1-year deal. If a guy's on a 1-year deal, then you still need that position.
Yeah.
1 year is a rental.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked ad nauseum about the different D tackles. If you are watching this for the first time, we have a playlist on our channel for all the prospect videos we've done so far. We have, I think, 12 videos or 11 videos because I put 2 on one with Harmon and Jordan Phillips on one. So we have a good amount of videos. So if you want to do your draft research as prospect watch, don't have to do your own deep dive. We've done that for you. We've made it pretty easy for you. So just go to our channel. We have our prospects so far, 12 so far on there. Tonight will be 6 more and maybe a little more extra for the other running backs we will not be talking about specifically. So, all right, without further ado, Tej, any comments you want to say before we get into this running back prospect episode?
No, I mean, I picked 2 guys that are sort of similar, but I was pushing Marcus to just let us have time to talk about a bunch of these guys because there's so many different flavors, and the Chiefs have signed Mitchell and then re-signed Hunt. So we have a few different guys that do some different things. So it'd be interesting to see how we're going to attack it. Are we going to go for more of a home run hitter? We're going to go for a do-it-all. We're going to go for a dirty runner. We'll see.
And like you said, when you talk about 1-year deals, I mean, that entire running back room on 1-year deals. So, there you go.
Totally.
So, yeah, that's it's definitely one of those needs. It depends on how much they like some of these guys. I know that, they've met with Hampton, or not, they haven't met with Hampton. They met with Judkins, which we talked about already. So, let me preface this before we get to running back prospects. We will not be talking about Sean Judkins tonight because we did talk about him 2 weeks ago. We already had a video out there. And remember, that is my number 1 running back in this draft class. Even I like him better than Genty, okay? So Judkins is the guy. We've already talked about him. So if you want to listen to what we have to say about Judkins, go to the episode from a couple weeks ago. It's in the playlist where we talk about Sean Judkins. Kid Juddy is my guy. That's who I want. So tonight when I talk about the 2 running backs that I have, I kind of went for the vast – what I've seen from a lot of Chief fans. A lot of Chief fans wanted, they like their guys, like their Kansas State guys, their K-State guys, or their Kansas guys. And tonight, you're going to get all your Evan Neal and Giddens talk tonight. So please.
We're going across the board today.
Yeah. But remember, Judkins is my guy. So we don't talk about him in this episode because we've already talked about him. We've already prioritized Sean Judkins. Kid Juddy, it's my guy.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure. Just want to make sure.
You promised your newborn away already.
I have. I'm going to name my kid Quinshawn whenever that does happen. All right. Okay, so let's begin with our first one. So this is JD's guy. So JD chose Omarion Hampton tonight. Those are Omarion Hampton's numbers from the season, or from his 3 years at UNC. So those are all his numbers right there. Those are his measurables. I mean, the guy is stout. 6 foot, 220, running a 4.46. I mean, that's legit stuff. But looking at Hampton, Teja, I don't know if you want to start off with your notes on Hampton. I have some notes here.
Look, I don't even need to go too deep into Omarion Hampton because he's just so. I mean, everyone knows how high he's rated. I mean, he's got everything. He's speed, agility. He's got vision and pass pro. He can receive it. He doesn't really have a weakness. Like no one's really talked about a weakness. I mean, some people try to nitpick, but he doesn't really have it. He's already a 3-down back. So he's a guy. There's a reason why he's being talked about in the top 20, 25 picks possibly. He's the only threat UNC really had Yet he was 74 percentile missed tackles per attempt and 97 percentile of yards after yards after contact per attempt. That's really impressive considering he's the only player they were zeroing in on. So when you can do that, have those numbers and be the main guy, I mean, for instance, if you put him on Ohio State, what would have numbers would have been considering they have a bunch of other guys to go to, right? So his comps are I've seen David Johnson, I've seen Matt Forte. Pretty good.
I've also seen Deuce McAllister, which Deuce McAllister, if you guys have, I mean, obviously most people in the chat, you guys have been watching football for a long time. Deuce McAllister was a beast. And if you get anything of Matt Forte, Deuce McAllister, and what you said, David Johnson as well. Yeah. It's a pretty good trio of running backs right there.
Yeah.
Some of the things I did see though, so I alluded to it earlier. Maurice Jones-Drew did his top running backs in this draft class, and again, it's an amazing draft. Hampton, I've seen him probably being the number 2 running back from the majority of people. I've seen him as the number 2 back behind Genty in this draft.
Some people even say number 1.
Yeah, some people are making the argument. Maurice Jones-Drew, however, had him as the 7th running back, which is kind of crazy to me. And he called him out on his quickness. He said his quickness, he wants to see his quickness improve, which is interesting. The guy's 6 foot 220, running a 4.4 40. Obviously, quickness and speed, very different. The one knock I did see on him, which is what I kind of looked at when I looked at the running backs today, I kind of made my big thing, because especially this year, right? They're going to be around a lot of veterans, so you're going to kind of have to make your money somewhere, right? Being the third down back could be something. And the big thing with him, he's a willing pass protector. However, his technique and placement need refinement to effectively handle NFL-level pressure. He has good size. A lot of the experts and these draft experts say because of his size, he has good potential in becoming a better pass protector. But talking about his receiving ability, phenomenal. I mean, soft hands. The guy, he can create an open field. So, that's not an issue at all. It's more, he's willing. He's got the size, but the pass protection technique right now. And as JD mentioned on the show last week, as long as a guy's a willing guy, you can fine-tune the technique. And that's what, you go from college to the pros. I mean, you're going to fine-tune it a little bit, right? You're not full-on ready to go product. Although he is pretty good. But as far as the pass protection aspect, that's a lot of things that rookies have to get. I mean, Pacheco 2 or 3 years in, still is not the best pass protector. So, it takes time for that, but he's willing and he's got the size, so that definitely helps as far as
you're going to see that a lot with a lot of these guys, even the ones who are good at pass protection. It's a lot of their size and they're willing, but they do need refinement. Not many of these guys are refined pass protectors. So that's not that uncommon for a rookie. I mean, again, if that's your worst thing, as long as you're not unplayable. If you're unplayable, that's a problem. But he's playable there, then that's fine.
Some of the things so obviously he's a top 3 running back, regardless if you put him at 2, 1, or 3, right? In this draft, I would say, outside of MJD's list. But it's interesting that
he's 2 or 1.
Well, top 3, I would say.
Who's third?
Well, I mean, there's a guy by the name of Quinshawn Judkins coming out of Ohio State, the Ohio State.
No one has Judkins, apparently, except for MJD. No one has Judkins ranked above Marion Hampton.
Well, I mean, MJD's list, he does have some other guys who are going to go around 4 to 7 ahead of him. But the one thing I have seen consistently, because MJD talks about his quickness, but the one thing I have seen is Judkins, a lot of his touchdowns are just straight line, kind of vertical runs. Not a lot of wiggle in the open field as far as having these kind of, dynamic kind of runs where he does make defenders miss. So it's not a lot of that. I mean, it's more like a Larry Johnson type. When Larry got in the open field, it was done. You weren't going to catch him. That's kind of where it is with Hampton. There's not a lot of elusiveness as far as making dudes miss in the open field when when it's a one-on-one defender. But as far as when he gets ahead of steam, he's gone.
And you know what? That can be attributed to, again, being the only talented player on a team where the entire 11-man is jumping on you. You don't really get a lot of one-on-one opportunities to just shake one guy loose for more yards. It's pretty much find it and hit it hard.
So the thing with Hampton, which is, everyone's got to each their own, and I put this in our poll on YouTube earlier. So Hampton's obviously, of all the guys we're going to talk about tonight, he's obviously far and away the best prospect of all the ones we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, he has to be a first-round pick.
Yeah. That's where the drawback is, right? It's a deep RB class. Is Hampton that much better than the guy we would get in the second round, one of our third round picks, or one of our fourth round picks? Is he that much better? And that's kind of the question that, like, you know, Veach and the staff, so the front office is going to have to kind of look at, like, is he that much better? And that's kind of where, if you look at the DTs and the running backs, and it's the best we've ever seen as far as DTs, the depth, you know, going down the list. Best running back draft class we've seen in a long time. Is Hampton that much better than all the other guys? To me, that's like, I don't think so. That's where I stand on it. Where do you stand on that? Because that's kind of like when I see people talk about the running backs are favorites. It's like, oh yeah, Hampton. It's like, well, if you take Hampton, you're not going to get a guy like potentially Harmon, potentially Nolan at that pick. But if you get the Nolan or Harmon, you're not going to get Hampton in round 2. But you could get Henderson, you could get Judkins, you could get some of these other guys we're going to talk about tonight.
Especially for how the team wants to use them, right? Are we looking for a guy who can do everything? Are we looking for a guy who can do one of those things? And which one of those things do we want them to do? So it really comes down to how we're going to use them in the end. Like, we could be so off in what we're looking for at this point if the Chiefs are just like, I just want our own version of Gibbs. That's all I want. If they want that, you could just be a completely wrong area. We're not going to do him. We're not going to do Judkins. We're not going to do most of the big name guys. We'll get to some other guys you can't possibly do. Or if you want, I want when these guys all leave this year, I want one guy who can handle everything. And then we'll get a cheap pass catcher and we'll get a cheap goal line back. Or if I want 2 guys who can split time and carries for the next few years. So it really comes down to what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's gonna be the big thing in the end. If I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet the Chiefs do not draft a running back in round 1. I think you go with D tackle or whatever, BPA. Or I know JD's a big anti-BPA guy, but you go BPA and then you get someone who may not be in a tier as Hampton as of right now, but you get a guy like that in round 2 or round 3 or round 4 even.
I'll tell you, if they draft Hampton.
If he's even there, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard top 20 pick for him.
Yeah.
Up to top 20 pick. But if we do, I expect a major scheme/mentality shift in what we're doing on offense. Because then why would you do that? If you're going to stick to what you're doing and not run the ball more than like 5 times in a game, why do that? You know? That's like spending most of your budget on a car and only driving it on the weekends. Like, that's a luxury pick. And the way our team's built right now, this isn't rookie contract Mahomes anymore. The way our team's built right now, we need to find like fillers at tough positions that are going to help us let guys go, right? And running back's one of the positions that we actually have we've been able to go cheap and win for the past few years. So it's going to be interesting.
2 things for me. This is more like mentality. You talk about mentality. If they do draft Hampton, they feel he is the guy, and they love and they're enamored with him. If they do draft, they run back in round 1. That's first. Number 2, how much of, and I don't know, JD would be a better person to answer this kind of question, but like, how much did drafting CEH in round 1 like hinder like them wanting to draft a running back in round 1 again a couple years later? Because a lot of people are like, oh, you don't draft running backs in round 1. And obviously, the running back kind of died for a couple of years, and now it's back again. Everyone's saying the running back is back, but like, does that play into it at all? Just like, oh yeah,
I think that's more in fans' heads than it's in their heads. I think GMs, unless they were really snake bitten, I think GMs are like cornerbacks. They just have a very short memory. On to the next play, because you can't not draft someone because they're really talented because you didn't get the best out of a guy 6 years ago at this point. You just can't do that. I'm someone who's going to remember that, or not drafting somebody, right? But at the end of the day, every year is different, and you have to just treat every prospect within itself. If we love them that much, we'll take them.
Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, Chiefs has not met with Amarion Hampton. As far as I'm aware,
not that I've seen either.
So that also plays into it as well. All right, so Teja, we're gonna get to your guy next. Your first guy of the night. Take it away, my man.
Speaking of someone who, if you're going to go for a more of a part-time player and you want a, big shot grand slam type running back, Travion Henderson. So I think this is contingent on us thinking we're always going to have a cheap bruiser with him. One thing I've heard more than anything about him is he's just not going to be a 25 carry guy. That's not his game. You don't want to draft him to be that, because then you're not getting the real value of why you're drafting him. So he's not a workhorse. He's not that at all. If you have a Lions type backfield and you want him to be your 1B with your masher, you want him to be your Gibbs type, I think that's more of what you want, right? He's explosive. He can accelerate. You'll scheme up certain plays for him. This is the kind of guy redrafts and is like, I know what I'm going to do with him, right? I have a plan for him. Good in the pass game, doesn't fumble. He's not just finesse. He can stiff arm third level DBs. He gets creative. He can juke. He can stiff arm. He can hurdle. He sees concepts really well. He's not very big, but he does get yards after contact for his size because he's really got really good body balance. Most of the guys I've heard talk about him say 8 to 12 touch guy a game to be most effective. That's what you want. You want him to be 8 to 12 touch guy. Maybe more if he's feeling it, a little less if he's not, but around that range, that's what you want out of him.
So obviously, I liked Henderson. I like Judkins more from of that backfield, the Ohio State backfield. But I wouldn't mind him. I think it's interesting. I haven't really seen much of a difference since the combine, but are they still going around? They're still going around the same area, Henderson and Judkins.
Yeah, yeah. Like I saw, NFL Stock Exchange shot out. They're great. They had us taking him in their mock in the second round or early third, whatever, 3 picks away from each other. But even they said they're very likely will not be here. But just a lot of fun just to be able to throw him around the field, split him out wide sometimes, just get him into great matchups and just become a matchup nightmare. Just scheme him open, scheme him on the open field. That's what you want him to really be. That's what you're drafting him for. Judkins, that's the thing. They're both really talented, but I think you're drafting either one of those guys with a completely different outlook. Judkins is a guy that you want eventually just to be your guy for all 3 downs all the time. Like that's what you're going to work him up to be. Henderson, I don't think you will do that. Maybe they have that. I don't think they would have that way. If they're drafting him, it's to be their specialty guy in space. But yes, second, third.
And with Henderson, obviously he's a kind of a home run. You can look at his numbers here. He's a home run guy, like with 7 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry. 7 yards a carry. Unreal numbers. As far as his pass pro, I feel like a guy like this, that's going to be something he needs to work on. Is that way? What are the experts saying about that?
I heard his pass pro is pretty decent, and some of the concepts he sees defensive concepts and sees the rushes pretty well. He's not huge, so he's going to have trouble against bigger blitzers. But I didn't see that as a problem. I didn't read that it was an issue with him.
Yeah. Again, there's a guy, and that's something that a lot of people, everyone's got their favorites in the draft, but with the running backs spot, there's so many guys I'd be okay with, and he'd be one of these guys I'd be really okay with because you're talking about looking at our lineup right now. Obviously, all those guys are on 1-year deals, but you put him with, Kareem Hunt this year,
yes,
Pacheco. You have that balanced attack. You have a Judkins type with Henderson's potential. And then obviously if you draft Judkins, you can get a Henderson type of guy to be that game breaker speed kind of guy with Judkins to kind of do what he does. Marion Oliver, Judkins reminds me of Adrian Peterson. Am I right? I wouldn't say that. I do like Judkins, but Adrian Pearson was kind of a different animal coming out of college. I mean, he was something else. I would say he's more of like, to me, he reminds me a lot of Kareem Hunt coming out of Toledo. That's more my Judkins comparison.
Yeah. Got a little mixing in him, I guess.
Yeah, Mixon. That's another one. A guy who could do it all. Not, 4.46 speed's great, but for that size is insane. I mean, his numbers, his combine numbers, no one. I have the stat here.
I think Judkins probably did himself maybe the most good out of not all the running backs. There's some guys that just shot up from like 5th round to like maybe 2nd or 3rd. But among the elite guys, he did himself a lot of favors on the combine. He ran a lot faster than I think people thought he was going to run.
Yeah. Just looking at some of the elements to Travion Henderson. Sorry, I don't want to. This is Matt Henderson. I want to keep with Henderson, but of course the Ohio State backs. I saw this one crazy stat. Henderson's 40-yard dash, he clocked a 4.43, reached a top speed of 23.38 miles per hour as they had him as the 3rd fastest guy in the combine this past year for running back. So pretty interesting. Henderson's play speed was on full display all season, generating 21 different runs of at least 15 plus yards. He had 9 different games of the longest run of at least 20 yards and was a reliable, explosive playmaker for the team all season long. So, I mean, talk about explosive plays. He's the guy for that.
Yes.
Now,
you want a guy in space, a part-time player. I think he's the guy you're aiming to get. That's the problem, though. I think most teams are thinking that too. But that kind of player, it's kind of a big-time luxury pick. Unless you're thinking of running your offense through him. But if you are, that's only a 10-touch-a-game guy, right? Like, Detroit's just different, and they had a great vision, and, I mean, good on them for having that.
Yeah, and I'll say Gibbs got a lot of people were kind of suspect on Gibbs coming out. I was like, oh, yeah, like they just got Montgomery, and now they're going for this guy who's like a one-trick pony kind of guy, and we saw that Gibbs is a different kind of animal.
They had a vision and they went for it. If you're looking to use a guy a certain way and that's going to be your offense, then dude, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, and you said this is 2nd, 3rd round, you said for,
yeah, I'd say unless there's a team that's just blown away and they will not let him get by, I'd say mid-2nd to early 3rd is my guess.
Sorry, a little sneeze there. Okay. That's not bad. Thank you. I would say Henderson is the only thing I would say about him. Obviously, we kind of talked about is the fact that like you're always going to need to have another guy with him. Whereas with other running backs, we will have to have other guy, but like not someone to kind of take the burden off that guy. So let's say like I know we talk about Judkins again. You have Judkins, you don't really need another guy. Yeah, it's nice to have like another guy to kind of spell him every now and then. But with Henderson, you need another guy because you talk about like not going to get more than 10 carries a game.
But do you think the Lions care about that right now?
The Lions?
Yeah, they have a guy who you need another guy with Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs is not going to be your 25 a carry full season back.
No, he won't be.
Do you think they're bothered by having to have another guy with them at this point? No, they don't care about that.
No, but so you're
a game breaker.
Yeah, but I'd love to see a whole season with just Gibbs. See how that works out.
He wouldn't finish it. That's what would happen with him.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Well, no, is it a problem? They don't expect that of him. They're not. They're gonna running backs. I mean, look, man. What, you're always going to need a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with another guy? You can find Hunts. You can find Pacheco's. You can find those guys.
Kareem Hunt's don't grow on trees, my man.
If they didn't, I don't think he'd be accepting a bottom of the barrel deals. I think mashers who can get tough yards are more plentiful than guys who can break away 80-yard rushes all the time.
Yeah. I was seeing some people in the chat tonight. Hype, Jack. I've missed you guys. Haven't made a live stream in a minute. Good you're here, buddy. Good you're here for the running back talk. For all of you guys wondering where JD is tending to his nephew Chad. Chad is not doing well tonight, so JD is out tonight. So send love and prayers JD's way and to Chad if they're watching. Love you guys. Yeah. So we got Kansas City Chiefs fan from Loudston, Australia. Oh, okay. Hi, guys from Loudston, Tasmania. Very unwell today with the chest infection, coughing stuff up there. All right, wow. Pretty vivid there.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I hope you're doing all right. I hope you take some Dayquil.
Yeah, take care of that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hi, guys, been very unwell. Hey, appreciate the contribution there. I hope you get some rest, watch some Chief concerts, maybe doze off to us. Not bad. Not bad way to spend your day.
Yeah.
It's daytime over there in Australia, right? Right?
Yeah.
Probably. I have to imagine. At Lounston?
It's almost noon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So take your Dayquil, you'll be all right. Take your Dayquil, put some Vicks, you'll be all right. All right, so
but yes.
Okay, so okay, our guy About Time, what's up, buddy? I was talking with a guy today that grew up with our new QB too. Ooh, he knows Minshew. Okay, Minshew's my guy. Yeah, I'm a big Minshew guy. I was Minshew for Halloween a couple years back. I think it was first year when he was it was 2019 Halloween. Yeah, I bought a Jacksonville Jaguars jersey and everything. Biggest waste of money ever. I haven't worn it since. So
yeah, I would imagine not.
But I will say the bland NFL headband, which is the NFL logo, like the Rob Lowe of Rob Lowe hat of headbands. Yeah. That's pretty sweet. That's
coming handy.
It comes in clutch. Yeah, Marion Oliver's prayers for JD's family up. Appreciate that. Sending healing on Jay. We feel better soon. Okay, so now we're gonna get to my guy. Well, not really my guy, but there's a few fans who keep mentioning this guy's name all over the place. So Devin Neal from Kansas, guy who's been productive all throughout his college career. I mean, he's been so productive that a lot of people are saying that the amount of touches he's had is kind of worrisome. I think he's had 750 touches in his college career so far. So yeah, he's been utilized big time. But yeah, the Chief fans who are big Kansas Jayhawks fans love this guy. And whenever you talk a running back conversation with anybody, they bring up Devin Neal and they say he is the guy. So some positives about Devin Neal. Well-balanced runners capable of sliding out of contact. Passing game profiles boosted by efficient outlet targets and stiffness in his pads and pass protection. That's the one thing about his pass. I looked at everyone's pass protection. His pass protection is probably one of the best things about him. He's a really good pass protector. Also, decent when it comes to as far as pass catching. Had a lot of screens, but a lot of little check downs. Not really utilized best as a primary receiver, but not bad in the passing game. But yeah, pass protection needs some work. But yeah, they say that as far as his technique, and that's something we're going to talk about through all these guys. Technique needs to be fine-tuned, but he's a big, stout guy, so pass protection is going to be all right with him. It's not going to be that big of an issue with him. Just more getting consistency. One thing I will say about him is what kind of scares me. Let's look at his size, 5'10", 220. I mean, the numbers are right there. Or about 5'11", 220. 4.58 40-yard dash. And it's like, I know it depends what we want, but we're talking about a bunch of guys who are on one-year deals. Is he going to be the guy to be the every down guy? Yeah, he can take a lot of touches. I mean, he's already had 750 career touches already, or carries already in his career. But it's like 4.58 40. I mean, in 2 years, this guy's, for me, in 2 years, he's going to look like what Kareem Hunt looks like right now. And it's like, a slow-ish kind of guy, not a guy's going to give us juice, which I feel like we are missing that component. I love him as the 1B to another running back's 1A if we were to get him. But as far as like him being the guy, I just don't think he could be the guy. I love what I've seen on tape from him. If we don't draft a running back and we wait till round 5 or 6 and he's there, I'm 100% gonna be happy about it. But as far as like me to say like, oh, Devin Neal's gonna be the guy for us for the future, that's I don't know. I can't really say because there's a lot of Chief fans. I know one of our guys, Lance the Spoken, I know he's all in on Devin Neal. I don't know how much of his bias of being a Kansas fan.
31.
Yeah, he would take him at 31 probably. Love you, Lance. Just kidding, buddy. But I actually don't mind Devin Neal. I just don't think if we draft him, I don't think we could say, oh, we're set at running back for the next few years. I wouldn't say that at all. So taking a flyer on him later on the draft, not bad. But as far as like drafting him with the intent of him being the guy, I have a hard time believing that. One of the player comps I've seen of him, pretty good actually, is a Zach Charbonnet. That's kind of the big one I've seen. And that's not bad. Charbonnet was supposed to be like a good solid 1B over there in Seattle. And he has been that pretty much, but he's also had some injury problems. That's Charbonnet's issue. Neal's been an Iron Man. This guy doesn't miss any games. This guy gets a million touches and he doesn't miss games. So that's one thing you got to love about him. But yeah, I may not be high on him, as high on him as a lot of other Chief fans are, just because the whole Kansas thing. But I do think he's a solid back, but he's not the guy I say we're going to like write off running backs if we do draft him. I think he's more of like, oh, let's see what we have this year. And if he's not the guy, then next year they'll draft a running back in the top 3 rounds. I just don't think – I mean, this is the draft to draft the guy. I don't think Devin Neal is the guy. So that's my take on Devin Neal. What do you think about Devin Neal, Teja?
So I believe he played 2 years of baseball at Kansas. He actually got recruited to Kansas. Part of the reason why he chose him was because they were going to let him play both baseball and football. One thing I kept hearing about him was he's just everything you want in an NFL player. He does lack some pass pro against bigger blitzers. He does lack the long speed, but just a true workhorse, 1,000 yards in 3 straight seasons. He's Kansas's all-time leading rusher, TDs, 100-yard rushing games. Missed tackle and yards after contact are both really high. Yards per route run was good. Missed tackle per reception, 90th percentile. He's just a really efficient, like one cut back, very patient in open space. I read Rashad White-ish, slightly smaller, like David Montgomery, some people say. Just a workhorse back, 760 carries in 4 years, dude, and he put the team on his back. Just everything you want in an NFL player and just hard to bet on. Hard to bet against is what I kept reading. Just hard to bet against. Just a guy you root for.
Yeah,
those guys get drafted, man.
Yeah, and you've seen all types of Chief fans come out to bat for him when you put up names like Judkins and they bring up Devin Neal. It's like, no, we need Devin Neal. It's okay, all right. But I just don't think he's the long-term answer. I think we do draft him. He's a round 4, round 5 guy, and they see what they have with him. And who knows? He could be like a Pacheco story. We're like, oh, it's a 7th round running back, throwaway, might not make the team. Neal, we draft him in the 4th round, 5th round. He becomes a guy. It's like, okay, all right. And then he looks good, then why not? I just think a 4.6 40 is just kind of scary to me.
Yeah, I mean, but that didn't stop you from, having a love affair with Kareem Hunt after 8 years. That's what he ran coming out of college.
That's true. So you're big on Devin Neal then, huh?
If he's the kind of guy you want to wait on, sure. Yeah. Neal's a good guy if you want to wait on and still get a good runner out of it. Yes.
That's fair.
He's kind of like a do-it-all type guy.
Yeah, no, he is. Oh,
he's
not the okay. I know we say there's problems in the pass protection, but he's got to talk about the size and the frame for it. He's solid when it comes to it. It's not like where it's like, oh, some experts are saying, oh, red flag pass protection. No, he's a tinker with some stuff. He's got the size for it, so he's got the potential in it. He had with 24 catches last year, 25 the year before, 21. Solid pass catcher. He's not, he's not Darren Sproles by any means, but solid pass catcher out of the backfield. And of course, the guy's been the guy for the last few years. We're talking about 750 carries over a college career. That, you can say, is a lot of tread on a tire. That's about almost 1,000 carries already going into his NFL career. That's where it's like, And then also, too, he's done a lot for his community too, and you gotta respect a guy like that. I definitely want a guy like that on my team who's doing a lot for his community. So,
well, they're good team guys too. So guys like that are going to get better at pass pro. I'm not worried about that with him. He'll take care of that. The long speed is the biggest question.
Which that's you're probably not going to get that from him. And that's
No, no,
you're
that-
not going to develop that.
You're not. Yeah, you're not. You could be a really good runner. You're not going to age gracefully, but you'll be a good runner your entire career. Like Hunt. Hunt's still rostered at 29, going on 30. If you're looking for like a younger Hunt, he's a younger Hunt.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and it's also too the flip side. It's like we talked with the last thing. Like you need to find your Gibbs, where it's like okay, with him you have your kind of the bell cow. You need to find the Montgomery with him. You need to find the Gibbs aspect with him. So that's the thing there. Seeing some comments here. Hearts and Roses, it's your birthday? Well, happy birthday, Hearts and Roses. There you go. Happy 21st birthday, Hearts and Roses. I don't know how old they turn, but once you hit a certain age, every year is the 21st birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy the night. I hope you enjoy Chief Concerns tonight. She asked what happened to JD. JD is dealing with some family stuff. Chad, who's a great member of the Chief Concerns family, is not doing well tonight. He's at the hospital right now, but send some love and prayers their way. And I hope you get old. I hope you get back up on your feet soon, Chad. Love you, buddy. Hearts of Roses. Thank you, Marcus. I am old as F. Okay, all right. Well, forget it. Age is just a mindset, okay? And it's just a number, okay? You got to live your life. You got to do your thing. It's just a number. At the end, it's all about the mindset. If you feel like you're a 25-year-old badass, you're gonna live your life like a 25-year-old badass. That's how I roll. Okay. All right. So now this is Jay. We're gonna go to JD's number 2 guy that he left us tonight. And I'm probably gonna butcher his name here. I tried to write it down phonetically. I didn't. I don't think I wrote it down. Great. I'll let you say it, Tish, because like
Bashul Tootin.
Say it again.
Bashul, like Bay Shul.
Bashul Tootin.
Bashul Tootin.
Bashul Tootin. Okay, Bashul Tootin from Virginia Tech. I know we have a lot of Virginia people in the chat, so where are my Virginia people at? What's good? Okay, so Tootin, fastest guy. I'm going to say fastest guy at the combine. I ran a 4.3, 240, fast as heck. Just an explosive playmaker. Talk about the Gibbs and Demon aspect of things. He's more of like the Gibbs element to it. Fast. He can do a lot of things. 4.32 we're talking about. That's good speed. Yes, Asha. Wow, 4.3. Well-built guy, stout. We're talking about 5'8", 212, this guy. I mean, that's no joke. Okay, well, I guess his measurables here, they have him at 5'9", 206. Okay, well, I've seen different ones where they have him at 5'8", 212. I mean, pretty much, this is like with 5'9", 212. I mean, 5'9", 206. I mean, it's a stout. That's a well-built guy. Now we'll talk about his pass blocking in a second here, which is, but yeah, you want playmaking, you want game breaking kind of speed, you want game breaking kind of runs, which you haven't had in a while. This is kind of the guy you go with. We talked about some of his negatives a couple weeks ago, but fumbling, he's got a little bit of the fumbleitis. He's an aggressive pass blocker, but that's something he needs. He's kind of shaky with it. Again, talk about scrappiness. He's a willingness to do it. And those are two things that kind of go for him as far as when we talk about his pass blocking. He's a scrappy guy. When you're 5'9", 206, balling out with a bunch of 6'5", big dudes out there, you got to have that little scrappy element. You can set a block, but as far as fine-tuning the technique, he's going to have to fine-tune the technique there. So that's kind of the thing with him. Also, receiving ability, you don't have to worry about that. We're talking about a specific running back who can catch a ball in the backfield. This guy is like perfect to be an Andy Reid running back, just based on the screen game. Virginia Tech loved running screens with him, just getting the ball in his hands in space. So that's like ideal for him. It's very Brian Westbrooky. So that Andy's going to love to do that kind of stuff with him. So in that respect, I love it for him. There's some things that I'm kind of nervous with. The fumbleitis is not a good thing to have. And also too, just, I don't know. What are your thoughts here with Bashul Tootin?
So the coolest stats were 2023. He forced missed tackles at a 0.39%, which is almost 40% of his runs he forced to miss tackle, which was awesome. And this last year, 0.31. So in the last 2 years, he forced missed tackles 30% and 40% of his runs. Very good cutback and wiggle, explosive. I mean, you talk about a guy who helped himself maybe the most of any running backs. It might be him. A 4.32 is just insane. So for teams that maybe he was going 5th or 6th, probably 5th. Now you're talking about, if you want speed and a guy who has wiggle, maybe 3rd, right? Vision can be hot or cold. He does have a screen game, but not a lot of overall receiving action. They didn't really get him to do a lot of things in the receiving world. It was mostly just kind of swings or screen passes. He does fumble a lot. Better for outside zone schemes. Doesn't always see the gaps in man schemes and tends to run into his blockers. And the craziest thing I saw on Twitter recently, 0 runs from under center in the last 2 years at Tech. So take that for, what you will. So again, you run a certain scheme and you want that certain skill set, he could go very high. If those teams already have running backs in their systems, he could fall a lot. So interesting nuggets.
That's crazy that he hasn't run behind. He hasn't been under center. He hasn't taken a snap from under center.
2 years at Tech.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a team that doesn't really like to get under center that often, to be quite honest with you.
No, it's true. It's true.
So it's not like that really hurts us. And as far as he seems like a 3rd down back if he gets pass blocking down. But here's the thing with him. It's like, I've seen some of these player comps, right? And what player comps did you have for him? For Tootin? So I saw 2, and I think they're hilarious.
Thomas Rawls.
Really? Okay.
Thomas Rawls, and then Lance Zierlein has Isaiah Pacheco.
Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that at all. I saw 2. I saw Chase Brown and I saw Darwin Thompson are the 2 ones I saw. Darwin Thompson's hilarious because that's, if any Chief fans remembers the Darwin Thompson days, everyone thought he was going to be the guy and wasn't the guy in the end. But Chase Brown, that's interesting. I mean, Bengals utilized the crap out of him last year.
Yeah,
he looked great. It was like, well, why couldn't we get a guy like Chase Brown? Some stats here that I have on some of the negatives on this guy here. So the fumbling, alarming second contact, ball security with 8 fumbles in the last 2 seasons. That's a lot. Can be feast or famine runner who was inefficient with 43% 3rd down conversion rate in the last 2 seasons. So not converting a lot as a 3rd down runner. But and kind of mixed reviews. Gray as far as a screen game guy, but as far as doing anything else at the backfield as far as pass catching, that's a little problem there with him.
Not a lot. They didn't have him do it.
Which is fine. And he's going to utilize his running backs in screen game. So that doesn't really bother me. And he'll figure that whole thing out. Although CH was a bit of a pass catcher coming out of LSU. And then when he came to the NFL, it's almost like we forgot to utilize his passing game or the receiving game with him, which that made me very scared, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. Anyway. All right here. Teja, we're gonna go to your next guy, your last guy the night before we get to mine, and then we kind of do the honorable mentions of the running backs. Yep. I see our guy actually where is he? Chiefs fan 211. Yeah, Raheem Sanders. Don't worry, buddy. We're gonna talk about Raheem Sanders. He didn't get profiled. I will say this. He's not gonna be one of the last 2 guys here. However, we will talk about him in the end. I promise you. I even made a graphic just for you. Okay, I promise, buddy. All right, take us away, Tej.
RJ Harvey. So 5'9" or 208. Ran a 4.4. I've seen some question his vision a bit. The interesting thing I saw was that he might need to change who he is just because the edge speed's much different in the NFL than it is in college. And he likes just to bounce runs outside a little too much when he should just take the yards. Really fast processing speed when making decisions, really quick, got good twitch, very impressive burst. 54 out of his 234 runs went for 10-plus yards. So good big playability. 94 percentile in missed tackles per attempt. 99 percentile in missed tackles per reception. So he's good at catching the ball and quickly adjusting as a runner. track and dual threat quarterback in high school, played baseball and basketball, and an honor roll student. I just think he would give us that big play threat we want, costing a lot less than someone like Travion Henderson would. So that was okay, I still want that in my running back. Let's not invest a top 2 round pick in it.
Yeah, and to point to MJD, I keep mentioning his list. He actually has RJ Harvey at number 6 overall in the running back class. This might be a surprise to some of you, but Harvey's versatility and potential at the next level ranks him above guys like Marion Hampton, whom I'll get to in a second. The UCF prospect earns yards after contact by making defenders miss in a phone booth, and his ability to catch out of the backfield makes him a viable 3-down back in the NFL. So, big fan.
I mean, look at that. 20 catches for 267. It's really good. 19 for 238. Like, he turns them.
Oh, he's legit. Yeah, and I like RJ Harvey a lot. Look at his numbers. He's very like, gosh, it kind of reminds me of Doug Martin a little bit.
See if I have a player comp on him.
And Doug Martin coming out of college was awesome. The muscle hamster, man, everyone loved him. Obviously, his career went kind of kaput really fast. However, he had a couple years surge in the NFL. So yeah, I wouldn't mind RJ Harvey at all. I will say, he's a good, he's a good running back as far as, he gives you the explosion. As obviously see his longest run was 80-yard run the year before, the 92 yards. And on top of that, you can be kind of a 3rd down back with him. So he kind of gives you a little bit of everything, which I'm going to be curious to see where he goes, because his kind of rating is, rounds 3 to rounds 6? Is that kind of where a lot of people have him slated? Because he can be. I
would say, man, that's the thing. Guys love it. They love it. I'd say 4 to 5 be my guess.
Yeah, the thing that I love him more than, for example, Devin Neal. I like RJ Harvey more than Devin Neal. RJ Harvey, he's got
more juice.
He's got more juice. Got the numbers, and also too, he can be the full time guy. As MJD says here, 3-down back.
Yeah,
he can be that. So it's like Devin Neal, you need another guy with him to kind of partner with him. Even Travion Henderson, you need another guy to partner with him. You don't really need it with a guy like that. Yeah, you can get the veteran guy off the street to kind of give you some spelling every here and there, but this guy is kind of it, full package. You're getting him late, so good value pick if the Chiefs wait on him.
So player comps, shades of Austin Eckler, Keaton Mitchell, fun-sized Tyrone Tracy, and Achan.
Gosh, really? Achan's so slight.
I know. Probably just because of the big play.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of bodes well for him, right? Because he has the big playability, and he's also pretty stout. I mean, he's well built, dude. This isn't 5'8",
205 is not small.
Mm-mm. Hey, and the Giants, I will say this: I know everyone wants to knock them for the whole Saquon Barkley thing, but they look like they found a guy in Tyrone Tracy for them to be the guy over there. So not bad.
Yeah, and 4.4 speeds. It's fast.
For
the other guy probably did himself a lot of favors too. He probably climbed the charts now.
Oh,
that's
for sure.
why I said, the mock draft I was watching with the dudes from Stock Exchange, NFL Stock Exchange, they were starting to bring him up when it was getting to the late 3rd. Not take him yet, but he's in conversations, but probably the 4th round, I'd say.
Yeah, 4.4, man. That's 4.4 for a guy who's 5'8", 205. It's no joke at all. And UCF too, I know back in the day was everyone used to dog him for the low level of competition. No, UCF's the real deal, man. I mean, they're playing against good programs, and they actually had a good year last year. And nonetheless, I'll say this too: they had a kind of a quarterback.
Again.
What's that?
Chase Brown again.
Yeah, it's a good comp.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about him as well. RJ Harvey, they kind of had a QB carousel last year. And the fact that he still put up these numbers with the kind of the QB carousel that they had, tells you a lot about the running back that he is. Forget about being in the Big 12 and whatever exists of it now, but being on a team that has really shitty quarterback play or has lack of a quarterback, it's tough to be a running back in that kind of system. And yet he's still producing 1,500 yards, almost 7 yards a carry, 22 touchdowns rushing. So, this is probably one of my sneaky guys. As I delve into more research on him. Big fan. I like RJ Harvey a lot.
ATN too, but he's just so much more. Like, dude, he's well built. His legs are massive. Watch him run his 40 time. I mean, dude, no wonder MJD likes him.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look at that VMO muscle right there. It's a beauty. Look at that thing,
dude.
Yeah,
no joke.
Yeah, I would definitely be all on board for this move if we were to get RJ Harvey from UCF. Seeing some comments here. Greg Rose 4-4. Oh yeah, 4-4 is no joke, man. No joke at all. I mean, yeah, this guy, you want to look at some highlights. RJ Harvey's not the guy's not being talked about enough amongst the fan base. Look him up. Guy's legit.
There's just so many running backs this draft. That's why we just can't even dedicate it to our main guys. You got to have a other section.
An entire episode for it. Kansas City Chiefs fan from Lounston, Australia. Thanks, Kansas City Chiefs. You make me feel better from Michael Riley. That's my name. Michael Riley. Shout out, buddy. Shout out, Michael Riley. I'm a big Mike Riley guy. Always been a Mike Riley fan.
Flying up the charts.
All right, and we have a question from Gary. What's up, Gary? Question, JD and Marcus. That's Teja, not JD. If there were two players at 31, John Campbell or Ohio State's Josh Simmons, which player would you take first? We kind of talked about this last week between the two of them. I think it was kind of consensus-wise. We'd probably go Josh Simmons just because, it's a BPA thing. We have more of a need for a tackle than we do a linebacker over the next few years. So it would definitely be Josh Simmons at that pick.
Go Simmons.
Yeah.
Simmons could start at left tackle if Moore sucks. He could start at right tackle once Taylor's probably gone next season, or move over to left. So yeah, and that's more of a premier position
for sure. And I don't think, to be quite honest, I don't think Simmons or Campbell will be there when we pick. But
yeah,
us kids can dream. Us kids can dream.
Just keep rooting for quarterbacks to be taken early.
Yeah,
the more we've ever taken, the more players we'll have at our pick.
Yeah, the more you hear about the stuff of Tyler Show being put in the top mix, or Jackson Dart being in the first round.
Dart's awesome. Take him early.
Yeah, seriously. Let's try to up the stock on those guys.
Quarterback run.
Okay, so our next guy is, like I said, I'm sticking with our fan base's favorites, and our fan base's favorites are Devin Neal and DJ Giddens. Those are our fan base's favorites, for obvious reasons. You got Kansas State, or K-State, as our friends from Manhattan say. DJ Giddens, this guy, solid man, 6 foot 212, ran a 4.43. Ran a 4.43. Some of these websites, they're off here because this one says his measurable he ran a 4.33. I believe he ran a 4.43 at the combine.
He ran 4.33.
Yeah, 6 foot 212 ran a 4.3, not nuts, but 4.3. So yeah, some positives about him. Smooth runner, graceful adjustments on his running path to keep his feet clean. Showcases great wiggle, natural running instincts in the open field to create false steps and break down tacklers. Interesting thing about him, you could say sometimes when guys get late starts in football, they kind of don't develop bad habits. Giddens started playing football as a sophomore or junior in high school. So not a lot of bad habits there. A late bloomer, so there's a lot of growth, and a lot of experts are saying that teams like his potential because he hasn't reached it yet since he's only been playing football for 3 or 4 years. So that's a big thing with him, that he hasn't been playing football long enough. So he could be a guy going forward to be better than what he is. And right now they're saying we're rounds 3 to 6, or rounds 3 to 4 for him.
Yeah,
so that's kind of if you get a guy like him in the third round, that's a steal. So those are his positives. Let's talk about his negatives a little bit.
It's got a big negative.
Yeah, there's quite a few here for him. And the big thing is he's 6 foot already, right? So that's already tall for a running back. Big thing with him is pad level. He runs high as heck. He's running, anyone who plays football, who's played football knows when you run high, especially for a running back, that's a cardinal rule not to do that. And he's already playing high. He's already a tall dude as it is. But again, we talk about a guy who hasn't been playing football long enough. That's something you learn really early on as he can run behind your pads. Doesn't really do that. Obviously, he came into football late. He uses his athletic ability. So that's one thing with him. Big thing, we talk about juice. Doesn't really have that second gear. 4.4, whatever, 40. Doesn't really have that second gear. He gets in the open field. while he is fast, he just doesn't have that like juice that we're talking about, the electricity that we want in our guys, and also has a kind of a negative, which a lot of experts are saying, his east-west movement. He tries to Le'Veon Bell it and doesn't really pick his hole and go to it. He kind of east-west it a little bit too much, and getting tackled for losses. Big thing for him was that, as far as the running high, and then also that. And then big thing I'm talking about is pass protection. Really bad pass protection, one of the worst in the as far as of all the running backs we've talked about tonight, amongst the worst. But that, again, can contribute to going back to a guy who's only been playing football for 4 years. That's just like, stuff that can be taught. He's got the size, 6'2", 200, 212 or whatever. So, like, he's got the size. So, like, coach needs to just fine-tune it. He'll be all right. So that's not that big of a deal. And then as far as pass catching, inconsistent. There's not really a lot there as far as his pass catching in general. So there's a lot of inconsistencies there. Also, too, one thing about I'm going to keep saying this about all the guys when it does pop up for me. Did a lot for the community. Like, people there, people love him in where he's from in Kansas. I mean, he's just done a lot for his community. You got to love a guy who's doing that, and that's also something that can carry over. A big team guy, a big do-it-all community kind of guy. That's the kind of guy you love for, to have in the NFL, to be on our team. So that's something, I think everyone, when you see it, it needs to be mentioned. And TJ Giddens has done a lot for his community, and you gotta love that. But yeah, as far as his receiving ability, not a lot to love there. But given an NFL program, but 6'2", 212. Some things I'm seeing here as far as his player comp. I didn't see a lot of sexy player comps for him. And
I saw some decent ones.
I saw TJ Yeldon, and as soon as I saw TJ Yeldon, I stopped at that.
I saw Chuba Hubbard mixed with Connor. Tank Bigsby, Elijah Mitchell, TJ Yeldon, Ryan Matthews.
Solid.
Ryan Matthews is a good runner.
Some solid running backs.
Yeah. So 0-star recruit. He was blue shirted because of grades. Missed tackles per attempt, 88 percentile. Yards after contact, 76 percentile. Low fumbles. He doesn't fumble a lot. In-game athleticism score, 95 percentile. So he's a good in-game runner. I read he was okay. Pretty good at pass pro. I didn't realize he was terrible at it. Good vision in man and gap scheme concepts. He's patient. He knows how to get skinny. Something he can even learn he can get better at with Kareem Hunt. Really good juke, really good head and shoulder fakes, broke a lot of ankles in the open field. A lot of drops. 5 drops on 32 targets last year. So that's a lot. And what I heard them explain about it was his drops are really weird. He said if you go back and watch them, they're just open, just turn around, just in his hands, like Monstar took his hands away drops. So you think they're correctable. That shouldn't be a big deal. But yeah, I'm a Giddens fan. I think again I think that sweet spot for running back is 4 to 5. I think we get a starter at 4 to 5. Maybe not this year's starter. Maybe he works in, and after a while, it's like, okay, we need to get this guy more touches type starter. And then by the end of the year, maybe he's our guy. And yeah, I like Giddens. Yet another guy I like.
And going back to MJD's list, MJD has this number 5 running back overall, which is pretty high. Yeah. He says Giddens is a sleeper, at least according to where most draft analysts rank him, with insane suddenness. I've never seen a player make people miss the way Kansas State star does, moving out of the way of tacklers in the drop of a dime. He's a long strider, yet his start-stop quickness is second to none. If he improves in the game if he improves in the pass game as a receiver and a blocker, he has the potential to become a 3-down back at the next level, which is interesting because he has Harvey behind him, and he already calls Harvey a 3-down back, where he says he has the potential to become a 3-down back. So one's more polished than the other, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind if we got Giddens. This is also a guy, like, we're not taking him round 1 or 2. He's more of like a 3-4 kind of guy, which is fine because that means we're going to find other stuff elsewhere. So
Like if we trade that next year's Bears 4th to get back into like the early 5th or something, it's to get probably like a running back who's like slipping like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again,
Correct me if I'm wrong. We traded back in to get Hunt.
did we? I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Has been a long time. I figured that'd be tattooed on your arm how we got Kareem Hunt.
I forget. No. Maybe we did. Yeah. Obviously, and the scouts love taking Missouri and Kansas guys, so that also stands out again. Like they love taking the local kids, so that could be something there, which would not be shocking at all. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Did
Chiefs trade their. I love when you click on it. Now you can't find it anymore. Chiefs traded their 3rd, 4th, and 7th round picks to Minnesota in order to acquire the Vikings' 3rd round pick, which was used to draft Kareem Hunt.
There you go. Good memory there. Good memory there, buddy.
We weren't kidding around, man. 3rd, 4th, and 7th to we must have.
They must have really liked him.
Yeah, that's a lot. No,
they must have really liked him. I mean, hence why we're like
3rd, 4th, and 7th. That's a man.
That's why 10 years.
You see things like that, and you're like, man, we need to trade down more in this draft to get some of these assets because,
right,
man.
It just tells you 10 years later, we're still big fans of them. So there you go.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. Joe E., we already talked about Omarion Hampton. You got to go back to the beginning of the episode, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you join in late, buddy. Yeah, go back to the beginning of the episode. We talked about Omarion. Don't you worry. All right, so now we are going to get to the best of the rest, the honorable mentions, which JD and Teja both wanted to talk about.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I could have made this graphic even more players because there's so many running backs. But Teja, talk to us about some of the honorable mentions of the best of the rest that you wanted to talk about tonight. I know our guy wanted us to talk about Rocket Sanders, so if you could do Rocket Sanders, that'd be amazing.
I won't start out with him, but maybe we can get to him at some point. I'm going Kyle Monangai from Rutgers. 5'9", 210, ran for 1260 last year, 72 missed tackles forced last year, 0 fumbles in 676 carries. Great work ethic, a pinball of pure muscle. Finds dirty yards when there's nothing there. He picks up 1 or 2. Who does that sound like? You do not want to see him at the goal line because he will run straight through you to get in. Tone setter, a nasty runner, absolutely blasts blitzers in pass protection. Knocks them out. Not a ton of reception production or breakaway speed. He ran a 4.6 flat, but when you're pure muscle and that big, it's excusable. Really high floor, and the quote I loved was, he runs like his family's being insulted. Love those kind of guys. There's a lot of those guys in this draft, too.
You think we're going to have 2 Rutgers backs on our team?
Why not? I don't think – hey, look, you act like we were burned by Pacheco.
I know. I never said that. No.
No, I know, but, like, why would we steer away from it? Like, you're acting like that we got burned by one.
Jesus. No, I'm saying I want a premier guy. I think this guy sounds like another like 6th, 7th round undrafted kind of guy. I think we're done with the undrafted kind of guys. We want a guy.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll go undrafted. I mean, he's probably a 6th. Let me look at where he's slated to go here. No, overall rank 161, positional rank 20. No. Late round, mid to late round. So no, probably 5th or 6th you're looking at.
Okay, MJD actually has a write-up on him. He has him as the 18th overall running back.
Okay.
Monangai is very physical and can make defenders miss in a phone booth thanks to his suddenness and compact frame, 5'8", 211. The Rutgers product is pass catching ability, but wasn't used much in that aspect during his 5 seasons with the Scarlet Knights. One of his biggest positives is that he didn't fumble once in 669 carries. There you go. So MJD likes it. Although I'm kind of skeptical of MJD's rankings with having Hampton so low. But
you've been going back to the MJD ranks a lot, so I mean,
well, I like player insight. I like guys.
Yeah, clearly we're a player insight show. I totally get it. I like it. I'm trying to look at. Okay, so now you're gonna be a fan. Player comps, your boy Bucky Irving.
Okay.
Sean Tucker, another key one.
Yeah. He hasn't really been the guy. He hasn't really been.
Tucker's good though. He's good. When I saw him this year in spot duty, he was good.
Yeah, he saw it.
Let's see. Those are it.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. Another Sean Tucker one.
Okay.
But yeah. Again, this is we're not prioritizing. I mean, they all have their. If we're drafting him, it's going to be in the 5th or 6th, and we're not prioritizing running back. We think we can get a guy like you said earlier with a Marion. Oh, do we draft him at 31 when we believe, we can get a guy similar to that at 2nd or 3rd? But you can keep doing that. You can keep doing that. And if you keep doing that, you're going to end up with the Manung guys of the world eventually.
Yeah, no, you're right. But it's different at the 31 pick because you're picking at the top of every position group. Once you get to round 2 or 3, like that's it's not top.
In a draft,
it's not the top of the top anymore. Is what I'm saying.
In this draft, I've read from many different scouts that player 20 to 60 is pretty even. So you are pretty much getting a first-round talent in the 2nd round of this draft, where we are, 31.
Depending on what position we're looking for.
Well, yeah, depending on what you do. But if you draft correctly, which I hope we do, our 2nd, late 2nd, and early 3rd are borderline like first-round grade talent you can get if you pick right. So, I mean, they're premium picks. Like, you get a lot. You heard the Vikings just got from us from the 3rd round to get Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you keep doing that and you think, I like so many of these guys. Like, do I have to get him? Is Giddens that much better than Manung guy? You know what I mean? Like, when you start doing that, the distance grows. But yeah, when you look at Manung guy versus Marion, then you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. But that's a 1st and 5th or 6th round pick. It's a big difference. So, again, I think it all depends how the board goes. I think if you're seeing a lot of running backs stack up and you're like, shoot, man, there's a lot of guys out there. You can keep justifying every single round going, there's not many edges left. Do we go edge or do we go running back when there's like 5 guys we like still out there that we love? Go edge next round. I don't know. Should we go running back? Chenal's a free agent next year. Tranquil, we have a get out with him next year. Do we go linebacker or do we go a running back when there's a million running backs left? It's tough, man. There's so many of them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. That's just not that guy's nowhere near my my top of my list at all.
I get it. This is the best of the rest.
Yeah, but there's better of the rest that we could talk about.
I loved his write-up. I loved what I read about him. And that is, I just described Kareem Hunt.
We've said that like 4 guys tonight. It was just Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, okay. But this guy's a 5th or 6th round pick. And I just described Kareem Hunt. Didn't fumble, finds a yard when there's no yard to find. Tone setter, runs like his family's being insulted. Goal line merchant, runs right through you. Pinball. Can knock people out. I mean, pass pro, out of all the guys so far, he's been the best pass protector we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Marion Oliver says it right there. That's what you want. Judkins just saying, appreciate the contribution, Marion. And
I mean, it's great. I mean, you're investing our 2nd round pick in a Judkins. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will be happy about it because you won't have to think about the running back spot. Because I think a guy like this Manunjai guy, I think we're talking about running back next year at the same time. And I don't want to talk about that anymore.
But hold on. To be fair, we might be talking about a running back with like most of the guys we talked about today. No, with most of the guys we talked about today.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about Judkins, though, and Hampton.
No, I know. But if you talk about Giddens in the 3rd or 4th, talking about Neal in the 4th, you're talking about a lot of these guys, we might be talking about running back again next year.
RJ Harvey, I don't think so.
We might be talking about running back with RJ Harvey.
I don't think so.
He's not what do you mean? He's not a can't miss prospect.
I think he's a guy.
I like RJ Harvey. it's not a guarantee though.
JD's on the chat, guys. J to the D is Jason Dunn. So that is JD. So JD is at the hospital right now. We're listening JD, love you, buddy. I hope everything's
Oh,
going
well.
well. Hope Chad actually liked what we had to say about his UNC boy.
I hope we're doing you
Hampton.
justice.
Yeah, I hope we brought up all the points you wanted to bring up about Tootin and Hampton.
Dude, even Travion Henderson, we're talking about running back next year, probably.
Well, that's why I'm more of a Judkins fan over him by a long shot.
I'll tell you what, okay? If you get Travion Henderson, and then you got Monungai lasting to like the 6 or first 7, you're talking about a duo right there, dude. A young duo the next like 6-7 years.
So you're talking about taking 2 running backs in this draft class now. Okay. Let me tell you, if you have to take a running back because the first running back isn't do it all enough.
That's contingent on Monungai saying till what's our first 7th round, 224 or something.
Yeah.
If that happens, you just did what you needed. You didn't know what you expect. A 6th round, 7th round pick. Who cares? That's not a premium. All
right, so let's go to our guy, Chiefs fan 211. I'm going to talk about his guy, Rocket Sanders, here. Was the next one of our best the rest guys. Rocket Sanders, interesting stat here. So while he's a huge dude, and we're talking about a guy who's 6 foot, 6 foot 230 is what he was listed at. Ran at 4.4 640, I believe. And we're talking about this is the most impressive stat. We're talking about 6 foot. Big dude, 6 foot 230. What is it? I say 230, 230. They 33rd team has him as the second fastest guy from this draft class based on top speed, which is insane. His name is Rocket. When you watch him play, he doesn't really look that fast, but Sanders posted the fastest top speed in the 40-yard dash this year at the combine, reaching 23.55 miles per hour by the end of his run. This ranks 8th all-time at the NFL Combine's database of player tracking. Just behind Jalen Wright, which, yeah, okay. But yeah, Sanders, okay, so he weighed in at 217 at the combine, so not 230. So he lost some, he shed some weight. But yeah, the one thing about Sanders, which you're going to kind of see with a lot of the tall backs, we talked about Giddens a little bit, is the pad height. That's just, I guess it's natural for taller backs, but the fact that that's kind of a commonality between all the kind of taller guys we talked about tonight, Giddens and now Rocket Sanders. Rocket Sanders, solid as can be. Let's pull up what I have here. Some of the notes I have. Positives, tremendous frame, physicality, and head-up tackle situations create challenges for second and third level defenders. Obviously, when you're 6 foot, 220, that's going to be quite a challenge for secondary guys who want to bring you down. Straight line and open field speed for home run hitting possibilities. Negatives with him, you get the high pad level, obviously exposing the body. That's just anyone who knows football. High the pad levels what they teach you at the age when you're the ankle biter. So that's a big thing there. Passing game impact, not the best to catch the ball to the backfield. It's not one of the strong suits. So that's kind of takes away an element of his game. And I don't know how that's going to be as far as being the guy. Again, like Teja said, the kind of a lot of the guys we talked about tonight probably aren't going to be the premier dudes unless we do draft a Judkins or a Hampton type of guy. Most of these other guys aren't going to be the guy unless we strike gold one of them. Who knows? You can never know. We might find a guy who becomes, a top 10 back in the league. But nonetheless, Rocket Sanders, South Carolina. I mean, you're kind of getting a little bit of, let's say we do have to go back to the running back class next year. You're getting a guy who can be your short yardage guy, also who can bust one deep, but also you're getting a big dude to kind of handle the load from the running back game. But yeah, Rocket Sanders, I wouldn't mind him late in the draft. Was I talking about round 5, round 4? Oh, also MJD did have a write up on him as well. Raheem Sanders, a player who enjoyed success at 2 SEC programs, Arkansas and South Carolina. Sanders is a strong runner with good quickness and burst when he anticipates the hole at the line of scrimmage. He's an asset in the screen game, boasting good hands and tackle breaking ability in space. If he can correct his fumbling issues and improve his pass protection, Sanders could find some immediate work as a part of a committee. So we're talking about running back by committee with Sanders. So not bad from MJD. Yeah. He has him as the 11th running back overall in this draft class. It's not bad at all. Talking about a guy's going to go late in this draft.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Rocket Sanders? You don't really have much to say about him.
I honestly, when I watched him play, I was so turned off by his play. I didn't even deep dive him. I have some notes. The reason why you don't see that and he ran fast is because he doesn't have that initial get off speed. Very good once he gets going on the runway. He's fast, but it takes him a little bit he doesn't have that explosion, I guess you could say. Definitely north and south, not an east and west guy. Not really elusive, runs kind of tight and stiff. The fumbling problems, but he's got the size, decent strength for between the tackles. Mostly just a one-cut runner. But again, you're taking him knowing that he's going to be in a committee, going to have to prove himself, and you might be drafting the running back next year.
Yeah,
CJ Pro size player comp.
CJ Pro size.
Yeah.
Nah.
Trust the pro size.
I was one of the believers in the pro size, and it didn't work out. Yeah, it did not work out. Also, too, I want to also mention this too. Did a lot for the community as well. Rocket Sanders did a lot for the community in Fayetteville, and as well as South Carolina. So gotta love that. Seeing some of the comments here. Let's get to some of them. Sasha, unless you're OJ or Dickerson and a few others, running upright does not work. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Especially nowadays where you have a target right in your chest because you can't hit in the head anymore. It's just right in the chest, man. Yeah.
LJ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, LJ was a special back. He wasn't OJ, but he was a special back.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin Blackwell, take Neal over Sanders for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Teja, do you have anything to say about?
I got some other guys.
Okay, yeah. There's one guy in particular that a lot of people are talking about. We talked about Hampton, we talked about Judkins. There's another guy more in that echelon than he is in the other echelon. That's what a lot of people are calling him. A lot of people call Carson Steele this name. Now people are calling this guy that name. They're calling this guy Cream Hunt, and that's Camp Scatterboot.
Okay, so I was like, it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was like, do we talk about him? He just has so much hype. He's probably the most hyped up running back in this draft. So another a true 0-star recruit. Pretty crazy. Another guy, there's a lot of guys like that in this draft, runs really pissed off, runs like he's taking something personal, like he wants to run through you and end your world. 97 missed tackle per attempt percentile, can make you miss, has a little wiggle to him. 87 percentile in yards per route run, which is really impressive too. He's another guy who's really good at catching the ball and then becoming a runner right away. Like that transition is just like amazing for him. The best stat that people salivate over, and the reason why he's got so many truthers out there, wins above replacement, right? You usually see that more of like a baseball stat, right? So the best way, I'll go ahead and explain that. So in baseball, for instance, wins above replacement is a stat that estimates a player's total value to their team by quantifying how many more wins they contribute than their replacement does. His wins above replacement is 0.52. For comparison, Genty's is 0.40. So like he is irreplaceable pretty much for his team. Can pass block. They say he does whiff because he's going for the knockout blow sometimes instead of just blocking a guy. So he can do it. He just tries to do a little too much, I guess. A little bit stiff. The guys at the NFL Stock Exchange said built like a brick shit house. Is how they described him.
It's a good way of it's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. Just like brings it every time. He did have 4 fumbles, but they also attribute to that him playing like hero ball and just trying to like get every single yard he can every single time. Best is an inside zone scheme runner, but just a overall versatile, just winner, just a winning type guy.
What are his player costs? Because I feel like
it's a good one.
And I feel like sometimes people get kind of lost in the fold when they see a white running back. They kind of resort to the same 2 names, and it's always he's a Mike Allstott, he's a Peyton Hills kind of guy. He's a Toby Gerhart type. I feel like people always resort back to the same old like names, and he's
it's
different.
Funny they made fun of that on the pod because they brought up Allstott. I think it was Monson. They brought up that. And he was like, "That's the worst comp I've ever heard. He doesn't run like Allstott at all. That's so lazy." Tyler Algier is one comp I've read. let me see. Zach Charbonnet. Kendra Miller. That's interesting. I never would have thought that. Let's see. James Conner, I can see. I like the Conner one. That's pretty good. Yeah, another Conner.
Do you see Kareem Hunt in his game? Because a lot of Chief fans are trying to say he's Kareem Hunt.
I mean, he's got some of those intangibles. Kareem Hunt was a natural pass catcher, really good at taking it, turning around, and becoming like a runner right away. Very good at not going down. Like, just he doesn't go down. He just refuses to go down. That's one thing Hunt, man. Hunt, especially in his younger days, like he was quick. He can get by you. He had enough wiggle, right? But he wasn't burning you. He just refused to go down and had enough wiggle just to get by people. He's another guy you could see him going as early as, man, if someone loves him, I could see him being overdrafted, but I would say third, fourth.
Cam Scatterbo, or Scatterbro, as some people are calling him.
Okay.
He is he's one of the running backs, like the only one we talked about tonight, who's met with the Chiefs so far. The ones we've talked about tonight. So yeah, I think Judkins, Scatterbo, and Ollie Gordon, I believe they've met with the Chiefs as well. So we've met with some of these guys so far. Let me so
Zach
MJD,
Moss, another one.
who?
Zach Moss.
Yeah, I know people are high on him. I don't mind Cam Scatterbo. This is what MJD has him as his third ranked running back.
Isn't third?
Third. And actually, I'm looking at it now. He has your boy Trayvon Henderson number 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a weird list.
Very weird. But Scatterbo, according to MJD, Scatterbo is a football player through and through, as he routinely gives his all no matter his role. This, along with competitive nature, was on display during Arizona State's quarterfinal loss to Texas, a contest in which he was named the game's MVP after recording 143 yards rushing, 99 receiving yards, and a 42-yard touchdown pass. He has great patience and contact balance as a rusher, forcing 102 missed tackles on runs last season, second in FBS behind only Ashawn Genty. Scatterbo could thrive in a number of NFL systems as the last piece to an offensive puzzle. The only question I have about him is his game speed, but he has the potential to be a day one starter with the right team. So that's what a lot of people are saying about him.
Yeah, I would think so too. You're drafting him like the third or fourth to be your main guy. Other guys I read that I saw that their comps from the stock exchange dudes, they said the way not exactly the way he run, his playing style, just running really angry. Chris Ivory, they said the way Marshawn Lynch always ran like angry, you've abducted his family. Like Ricky Williams ran the same way too, just really, really angry every single time they had the ball. Those are other ones too. Another couple I just saw, Maurice Jones-Drew. So maybe that's why he kind of likes him a little bit.
Maybe. JD says Scatterbo, eyes emoji, 3 of them. Not flashy, not fast, but productive. Will that translate to the NFL is the question. Not a home run hitter. And that's kind of, that's how I feel. Yeah, no. And Sasha says MJD has CTE, which based on his list, I have a few issues with his running backs list, but it's always nice to hear what he has to say about running backs. But yeah, he was the, like you said, Teja, he was the offense at Arizona State. He was the guy they went to. How much of these numbers are just again the amount of touches that he got, right? Like that's kind of where I see him. He got a lot of touches, and
I mean you could say that for Omari Hampton too.
True, yeah, true.
Very similar. Only guy in their offense and a lot of touches.
I mean, that's where you make the case, because I know a lot of people always want to make the case like, oh, well, Judkins had so many guys in his offense. Well, you know how hard it is to when you have so many guys on your offense to make the most of those touches. He did. Trayvon Henderson made the most of his touches because he had a great offense. Everyone was doing their thing. All those guys made the most of their touches, whereas Scatterbo got constantly fed. Devin Neal got constantly fed on almost 1,000 carries in 4 years. So a lot of these guys got a lot of touches, whereas you talk about like the Ohio State guys, they didn't get a lot of touches. They still made the most of it and looked freaking good.
But I guess that's why his wins above replacement so impressive, because everyone was looking at Scatterbo to be their everything on offense. When the next guy came in, they just got dominated. Like they couldn't do anything close to what he was doing, right? A lot of these guys have comparable backups that can do somewhat close to what they're doing, not exactly the same. I honestly think if Judkins ran a week 40 time, I think he would have fell a lot in this draft because his tape this year wasn't that great. He did struggle at times. He looked better last year than he did this year. I think in those situations, your combine can either make people totally forget about that, or they can magnify that, right? In Judkins' case is interesting because it made people forget about that because his 40 time was so fast.
JD says Scatterbo second day guy, which I agree. I don't think he's gonna be a first day guy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No way.
No. Yeah.
He's not going ahead of the other guys we're going. I mean, like, I don't think
there's no shot that Hampton goes after him. No shot.
Another guy that if I can bring up right now, who's going to go probably ahead of Scatterbo too, Caleb Johnson.
Someone asked if you talked about him yet, so there you go.
No, not yet. So Caleb Johnson, 6 foot, 225, rock solid 225 too. Just like just a man, a beast. 100 yards in 9 out of 12 games last season. Patient, plows through arm tackles, runs with power, speed, agility, balance, everything. He also makes it very personal whenever he runs the ball. Great lane runner, but he can also glide through the second and third level. Some of the pods I listened to said just pure runner. They said they think he was the best runner in this draft. Just pure runner. Pass game's a bit limited, mostly dump off swings and screens. But watch the Nebraska swing pass. If you're going to watch a play of his, that's just you pull it up, you think? Ooh. No, it's tough.
I would have to edit it because I don't want to get copyrighted. I have to kind of do my magic.
Okay.
Actually, I can pull it on Twitter.
Oh, okay. But it's a play where he runs. I think everyone on the defense grabs him. Everyone gets a hand on him, and he runs through like everybody. Just amazing. Decent blocker, physical. This is what you kind of described earlier. The physicality to be a good blocker, but the mentality isn't all the way there yet, right? His comp was pretty awesome. It was Todd Gurley without the receiving. Just that kind of runner. Just that kind of runner. He didn't test well, but he's big, man. 6 foot, 225. So it's not like he's one of those 5'11", 195 guys who ran slow. He's big time. So like it's excusable from him almost. And he runs better in games. He tested well in games. His film, you didn't see him being slow. Like he got to the second level. He burns people. He takes the right angles. Just a great runner.
One of the things I did see about him, which some people talk about what people use against players. Iowa had a pretty damn good old line. They kind of let him. He was kind of untouched a lot of the times. You watch a lot of their games, go 10 yards before the guy gets touched. That's something that kind of can be knocked, used against him, I guess, because the guy had a good old line and he was able to kind of be a beast within that. So that's something. Here's the play you were talking about. Let's see if we can get that up here.
Down to 11 out of the backfield.
I mean, he's got that speed. Broke away. Just that's a beast play, you know. Other player comes DeMarco Murray. Love DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, DeMarco Murray was a beast.
Another player comp, Larry Johnson.
Okay.
Stephen Ridley Key. Yeah. He's someone who was going a lot in the early part of the process. He was going like the Judkins range, but I think he ran a bit slower than people thought. Judkins ran faster than people thought. So he's slipping. You got him in maybe late third, late fourth.
Yeah. So MJD has him as his 14th running back overall. The
14th?
14th. The 2024 Big Ten running back of the year is a smooth operator with good speed and vision. The 6'1", 224-pounder runs with great tempo to the hole and gets skinny through it, reminiscent of Arian Foster when he came into the NFL. Johnson thrives as a zone runner and routinely breaks through tackles, racking up the 5th most rush yards after contact in the FBS last season with 1,060 per PFF. He has a lot of upside, but must improve in the pass game to earn a bigger role at the next level. So, like a lot of Iowa running backs, man, that's kind of the crux for them as far as being.
But you know what though? I don't think it's because he can't do it. I just don't think they used him that way.
I get that though, but when we're not being utilized in that role in college, then you're gonna go to the NFL and you're gonna pretty much go from high school not being a pass protector. You kind of skip all the stuff of college when you're going against pros. You're gonna go right doing the professional. I mean,
it's mostly dump off swings and screens, and swing passes, but it's not like they weren't throwing to him at all. He just wasn't running routes. He wasn't Travion Henderson. It's not his game. I think he can get that. I think he can catch a screen. Okay. It's not like we were running really route trees for our running backs this year. Okay. I think the extent of that was Kareem Hunt going on for a dump off pass. We weren't really doing that this year.
No.
We didn't really use CEH that way when we had him.
Justin Blackwell, part of being good is not running into your blockers.
Correct.
Yeah. So JD was going to talk about Ollie Gordon, which I was going to make a mention of him. So JD obviously would do a much better job of me doing this. But however, Ollie Gordon, about 6'1", running back, 225 pounds, ran a 4.6 40. So not the fastest guy, obviously. Chiefs have actually had a formal meeting with him. But again, this is the formal meeting that came before the Kareem Hunt signing. So I don't know if that changes anything for anybody. Nonetheless, they have met with him. So there's that. Ollie Gordon, some of the pros and cons to Ollie Gordon, positive size and running style, but second level defenders is an ultimate bind. He's athletic enough to capitalize on hesitancy in space. Very good body of work and pass pro. He's physical, assertive, and does well to strike and deliver blows to compare to passively catching them. So, yeah, when you're 6'1", 220, yeah, you can deliver blows for sure. And his fumble metrics are impressive. He offers good ball security as well. So, talking about a ground and pound kind of guy, that's your kind of guy. And let me hold on a second. I just want to see if MJD talked about him. MJD has him ranked 30th. A quick blurb on him. MJD says 30th. Gordon is a big athletic running back whose violent style causes defenders to fall off of him. The long strider is a natural pass catcher who can also protect quarterbacks. So not really any knocks there for Ollie Gordon. But the negatives on him, lateral mobility and agility are modest. He doesn't appear to adjust his tracks well if the point of attack is clogged. Modest open field speed that has led to a number of chase downs from behind when afforded clean runways into secondary. High hips and center of gravity yield irregular results when absorbing body blows and maintaining forward balance. So you're gonna get a guy, a late day 2, maybe day 3 kind of guy with him.
So I've seen many people call him the most disappointing running back in college this year. He was awesome in 2023. 2024, I just read he looks slower, stiffer, and just blatantly disinterested this year. Just didn't look like the same player at all. I didn't get too far because when I read that, I'm out. That's just kind of how I went about it. If you go off his 2023 tape, you're talking about a guy you're willing to take that chance on. So anyone that drafts him, I'd say in the top 5 rounds, they're doing it because they think 2023 Gordon is there. And it's not 2024 Gordon. And maybe whatever he's dealing with this year is the reason for the fall off, but the fall off is significant. And this is just running into players, just running into the defender, just not the same player at all. But based on that, not a big fan.
So JD does not like the analysis that I read out about. That wasn't my analysis, by the way. But JD says, nope, changes nothing. Chiefs still like him. Doak Walker, award winner, had a run behind a bad offensive line. There are about 8 guys, NFL stars in this draft. That's about it.
He had bad quarterback play, too.
Yeah. And JD said he ran behind that bad offensive line. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. The NFL blurb, the one-liner, bad quarterback play, subpar line, and every defense keyed on stopping it. Just watch his 2023 tape and ignore 2024. If you're doing that, yes, you're drafting him happily in like the third or fourth round if you're doing that. Yes. If you look at the other things, ignoring an entire year of film, which is it's pretty crazy. Yes, you're gonna maybe shy away from him or get him late. But because of that, you might be able to get him extremely late and think you got a steal out of it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the Chiefs interviewed him. When the Chiefs were having formal interviews with the guy, they obviously like the dude.
Big deal, yeah. And if they think they can get him later, right? You trade into the 5th round or something with that 4th for the Chicago Bears and grab him. I'm totally fine with that. I'm not against drafting players that I'm not high on after reading about them and watching. I think there's value everywhere. I think all these guys have a place in the draft where it would be a steal or good value to get them at that place. And if you think you can get the 2023 version out of him, 5th round is not a big deal to waste. Like, you can do that and not feel bad about it. You take a swing at a guy that you think can be your guy, right?
Hey, the Chiefs are looking at him. They like him. They obviously see something something that JD likes. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
30th on MJD though, dude. That's brutal.
Yeah.
MJD watched 2024 film. Huh?
Yeah, he ignored the 2023 film again.
That's rough. That's really bad. 30, my goodness.
Yeah.
Man, 29 other guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
Wow.
But all right.
Some fullbacks ahead of him on that list.
Probably, yeah. I mean, 29 guys ahead of him. I think he's got your Rutgers boy ahead of him, so there you go.
Double. Yeah, 16.
Yeah. But all right, guys, well, that does it for us. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Obviously, the whole crew wasn't here tonight. JD's in the chat, but we hope JD, we wish all the Dunn family well, and we're sending Chad positive vibes and hope Chad comes out stronger. You're a tough son of a gun, Chad. We hope you come out better than everybody. Love you. But yeah, guys, I'll try to do my best. JD here, Newt. I love seeing your chats as usual. It really didn't really contribute to the conversation, but nonetheless, love your chats. Demetrio Spence, what's up, buddy? Kansas City Chief fan from Australia. Nice job with your engagement tonight, JD. We love you, buddy. Demetrio Spence, Justin Blackwell. New YB negative, Linda Hunter, my guy G-Pick. I hope you're doing well from the hip surgery. I hope you're getting better. You're in here, so yeah. Guy Sasha, great contribution tonight. Really loved everyone's vibe and everyone's and Marion, loved your engagement tonight. So yeah, guys, Hearts of Roses, happy birthday again. I'm just trying to quickly go through here. I think we hit everybody who was in here. About Time was in here. About Time, I think About Time said something. About Time had my 16-year anniversary 3 days ago. Wife feeling a little bit better too. Still has to John Hopkins for a stretch, but today Doc said she's doing great. That's good to hear, buddy. That's good to hear, man. All right, I guess that Joe E. What's up, Joe? Hope you're watching the Amarion Hampton segment that you missed out on. But yeah, that does it for all the people in the chat tonight. JD does a better job of this than I do, but JD will be back Wednesday. So yeah, guys. So yeah, Wednesday night, JD and I will kind of give you a whole encapsulation of what is going on in the Chiefs world as it stands at the end of March, as we are a month out to the NFL draft. We hope you guys enjoy the episode, and myself and JD will see you guys Wednesday night. Love you guys. Hope everyone has a good weekend or has a good week, and we'll see you Wednesday.
Later on.
See you guys. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.